At midnight, Ibrahim Traoré was alone with a pistol pressed against his temple. His country, Burkina Faso, was aflame. The army had rebelled, the government was collapsing, and foreign powers were waiting like vultures. With nothing left, no friends, no hope, suicide was the only option. As he was ready to pull the trigger, a calming voice stopped him in his tracks. "Your father would be proud of you." Traoré gradually turned around and was surprised to find a man whom he believes perished 15 years earlier, Thomas Sankara. In the next 10 minutes, Traoré would witness a return from the dead by a miracle. Sankara, whose funeral the world had witnessed in 1987, and whose tomb thousands had visited to pay their respects, now stood before him, alive as a lamb. "Impossible," Traoré gasped. "You died. I witnessed your funeral. I visited your tomb." Sankara smiled. "My death was greatly dramatized, young man. Sometimes survival requires making the world believe you are dead." In the presidential compound, meanwhile, there was pandemonium. 3 generals had just attempted to make coups. French troops were on the border threatening to invade, and the institutions of the country were beginning to implode. Traoré had only 2 options: flee or be killed in a fight. That is when Sankara entered the room and changed the script. He explained to them that while his friends were being killed on the night of the 1987 coup, some loyal soldiers had snuck him out in a secret tunnel. He observed Burkina Faso wallow in darkness for 15 years. "Why didn't you say to the people what was true?" Traoré asked. Sankara answered, "Because sometimes the most powerful thing is for your enemies to believe you are dead." He had returned now because the country was at a climactic turning point. The coups were no isolated events. They were well coordinated, with French intelligence in time to avert a treaty to be signed the next day, a $15 billion cooperation with China that had threatened traditional colonial interests. Sankara's homecoming electrified the country. Citizens packed the streets. Protests evolved into celebrations. Across Africa, his homecoming was more than one man returning home. It was the restoration of a continental cause. Internationally, his homecoming caused tremors. The French president called an emergency meeting. "Apparently, assassinating African leaders isn't as easy as we thought," read the foreign minister. Over the next half-year, a revolution swept the continent. Inspired by Sankara and Traoré, other nations in Africa, Mali, Niger, Guinea, began to demand real independence too. The old revolutionary and the new head of state began shaping a new Burkina Faso together. One day, Traoré asked, "Why did you wait 15 years?" Sankara replied, "Because when a leader is dead, he will become a legend. But legends return when people most need them." And then something even more incredible occurred. All over the continent, other leaders who were believed to be dead began reappearing. Patrice Lumumba's son emerged, and then the resistance leaders from all across Africa. In private, Sankara informed Traoré, "We weren't just one man faking being dead. We were a network, dozens of leaders, all believed to have perished, all observing, all waiting for the right moment." Africa's blackest night had become the break of day. The reports of Thomas Sankara's return shocked Western capitals. Spy agencies scrambled to rethink decades of speculation. What had been seen as the beginning of an African renaissance had now turned out to be a meticulously planned comeback, stalked in secret by leaders the world had assumed were long disappeared. Today, the union of President Ibrahim Traoré and Thomas Sankara is African solidarity and resilience. Sankara, the one who was buried and mourned, not only returned, but proceeded to alter the destiny of an entire continent. During a period when all hope rested with the dead, his return taught us that occasionally the most dazzling salvation can be found in the embers of presumed defeat, and sometimes the re-emergence of a legend is enough to awaken a sleeping continent. The gun Traoré nearly used to end his life now rests in Burkina Faso's National Museum. Its plaque reads, "Sometimes salvation comes just when you're about to give up hope." In the same presidential office where despair once ruled, 2 leaders now plan Africa's brightest future, demonstrating that the dead don't always stay dead, especially when a continent needs them to live. At the center of the political firestorm was a $15 billion China infrastructure deal, an agreement that would make Burkina Faso independent of Western economic domination. Fewer than 3 people were aware of it, but Sankara had exact knowledge. "I have been waiting for this moment for 15 years, he declared quietly with conviction. The dossier he put on Traore's desk included secret information, coup plans, movement of troops, French coordination points, and propaganda tactics. "How did you do that?" Traore asked in amazement. Sankara said, "One of the advantages of being considered dead is that no one suspects you. I lived among them. Different names, different roles. I was a driver, a cleaner, a cook. I learned from within." A knock at the door interrupted their deliberations. The head of security arrived to inform them that General Urao had encircled the palace. "We have to escape," he urged, but Traore stood firm. We're not going to run anymore. We're going on the offensive." Sankara smiled with pride. "That's the kind of leadership I've been waiting to see." The following 3 hours were the most strategic in Burkina Faso's modern history. As ordered by Sankara's wisdom, Traore outmaneuvered all coup plots. When General Urao thought he had the palace surrounded at 3 a.m., he actually was the one surrounded. Regular loyalist troops had executed a masterful counter-operation. "This is impossible," radioed General Drago. Traore took the microphone and answered, "Because even the dead defend Burkina Faso, General." By 4:30 a.m., another plotter of the coup, General Ka, was also arrested. The French-backed coup had failed. Break of dawn, and the nation heard the President Traore address them from live television. "My fellow citizens, tonight our nation was rescued from a grave danger. But this rescue was provided by the most unexpected assistance." The camera cut in to reveal Thomas Sankara, very much alive, standing up straight and smiling. The continent had only recently witnessed the unimaginable. And in doing so, Africa woke up.